Hi, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel. Today my guest is Stephanie Nicolaou. Stephanie is a doula and also she is specializing in tantric therapy. She is helping women to go through pregnancy and connect with their bodies. So in this series of conversations we talk about connection between birth experience and sexuality, sensuality, and our relationships as women with our bodies. So I hope that conversation would be insightful, and if so, please don't forget to like it. And now to Stephanie. Because you work also with the couples and men, what is, from your experience and your perspective, what is the man perspective on sexuality, sensuality, the connection with the woman after birth? Does it influence in any way?
It's really interesting. What comes in mind now that I hear the question is I didn't actually have clients saying this, but I hear this a lot, this idea going around that I don't want to see my wife giving birth like directly from her vulva because maybe I won't be attracted to her. I hear that from women and from men, which is really interesting. And I would say that's a fear, which is could be a very valid fear for some. And this is a valid fear. I've heard men questioning, so what's gonna happen after birth? Are we gonna have sex again? Is she gonna focus just on the baby? And is she not gonna be a mother? And when I asked this question to my partner, because I wanted to hear his perspective, and he works with men, so he speaks about this subject, and he said for him it was important for the man to have the awareness of this transition that a woman goes through. That he has this fear, and a lot of men have this fear, what about sex? What's going to happen with sex? So he said something really interesting, that he thought his role was to remind his partner about her nature as a woman and not just as a mother. So this is something that I see a lot happening for natural reasons. Of course, the instincts are activated. However, losing this connection of myself as a woman, and then my connection to my sexuality and my connection to my partner, it creates a big gap in a woman's life. So I loved how he said his role feels to remind his partner without pressure, because that's another thing that can bring a lot of, what about sex? No pressure, just as an understanding of, yeah, she went through something big, but her nature as a woman is important, which is connected to her sexuality and the sexuality between a couple. So this is a general thing of a fear that men can have about birth and sex. But I think if we hear different men, they will have different opinions. However, I see the more aware and sensitivity around the subject is happening. It's like more awareness and sensitivity, meaning maybe, let's say, 50 years ago, it could be like, this is your role, this is my role as a wife, I need to have sex, or even the opposite, completely shutting down sexuality and having sex when you want to procreate again. But if we take sexuality as a means of connection, deeper intimacy, and taking us back to what I said in the beginning about sexuality, not just as a highway road to having pleasure, to look in a specific way. So expanding this into, let's just start with a hug and see where that goes. So with deleting all expectations around the subject and all pressure. And even if we feel pressure to be able to express this to our partner, both ways, what we feel, we're getting naked, but we also need to get naked emotionally and mentally to really have this deep connection and intimacy that sexuality can have.
Nice. And I think that's really connected to what you previously said about a woman comes back from the birth being sort of reborn in her full nature, and her woman's nature also changed. And that's, I think, appreciation of this and awareness about this really important for the partner as well. So it's not about not having sex anymore. It's about like how it's going to be now. Maybe some curiosity on like what's going to happen now.
Yes, like reapproaching this. But also one thing that I have not mentioned is how intimacy can also be very healing. And I'm not talking about things that are that need a specialist thing. Like if you have a very traumatic experience, you may need some external support from a therapist. But intimacy itself, really staying with the body of your partner, it can really do miracles. We heal so much through intimacy, as it reminds us of our natural state of being, which is love.